everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about President John Magufuli's death, the Icelandic volcano eruption, the US-China summit in Alaska, and the Australian floods. The country of the week, which will be done in French, is Libya, or as we say in French, La Libye. And in the extra fun segment, we're going to be talking about climate change. I hope you enjoy. Last week, we talked about the rumors about President John Magufuli having coronavirus. Unfortunately, this week he died. Officials say it was because of heart complications, which he has apparently battled for more than a decade. He was succeeded by Samia Suluhu Hassan, his vice president, 2 days after his death. She became the first president who is a female in Tanzania. Something interesting is that Tanzania gained its independence in 1961. President John Magufuli died at the age of 61, and Samia Suluhu Hassan became the president at the age of 61. Thank you. An Icelandic volcano, Fagradalsfjall, erupted on Saturday. The last time it erupted was more than 800 years ago. Do you remember the 2010 Icelandic eruption, which caused the whole of Europe's air travel to close down? Luckily, this one wasn't as severe. Did you know that Iceland has recorded more than 40,000 earthquakes in just 3 weeks? And on Saturday, it recorded more than 1,200 earthquakes. Last week, USA and China diplomats met for the first time face-to-face since Joe Biden became the president. The summit was held in Alaska, and it's still ongoing. It's important because the changes implemented and the topics discussed will affect the whole world. In fact, China and USA are the world's largest trading partners. So if anything goes wrong, it could bring consequences to the whole world. USA's delegation was led by Secretary of State Antony Blinken and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. China's was led by its Foreign Minister Wang Yi and its top diplomat Yang Jiechi. It got off to a rocky start as Antony Blinken said that USA was concerned about China's actions regarding Taiwan and Hong Kong. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi shot back by saying that China expected more from USA and they thought they would follow rules and protocols. Everyone was hoping that this could lead to a better relationship between USA and China because it became quite severe during Donald Trump's term, after he kept blaming China on the start of coronavirus. In Australia, the weather forecasts show some life-threatening floods. Already, the floods have gone up to 4 inches or 100 millimeters. Many people have been saved from waters and others have evacuated to the north in evacuation centers, leaving their homes. Dams are expected to overflow soon, and major roads have also been shut down. In fact, a whole house floated away due to the floods. The floods were caused by global warming and climate change, which I will tell you more about during the extra fun segment. Climate change is a huge problem in our generation, and it's only going to get worse if we don't reduce it or start putting in effort to stop it. We can already see some of the effects of climate change, such as the droughts in Asia versus the floods in Australia, and the wildfires in Australia versus the cold wave in Texas. Youngsters such as Greta Thunberg and many others are already trying to stop and reduce it. Since we're going to be living on Earth for quite a few more years, we should try and do that too. La Libye est un pays situé au nord d'Afrique. Sa capitale est Tripoli et sa population est 6,7 millions d'habitants. En 1969, le colonel Gaddafi a organisé un coup d'État pour prendre le pouvoir du roi. Il a régné pendant 40 ans, jusqu'à ce qu'il soit tué par la population. La Libye est riche en pétrole. Pendant son pouvoir, la Libye était riche, mais le peuple n'avait aucune liberté. Après sa mort, le peuple avait liberté, mais le pays s'est effondré. Depuis lors, la Libye est en conflit et instable. Avant le début des conflits, c'était un très beau pays. Merci.
Okay, so thank you for agreeing to do this interview. We'll just be asking you a few questions on your career. Okay, so I hope you enjoy. To start with, could you just introduce yourself?
Yes. Good morning. My name is Judes DeBaere, and I am currently chargé d'affaires of the American Embassy here in Mauritius, and we also represent Seychelles. And a chargé is a person who assumes responsibility for the mission after the ambassador departs. So we had a wonderful ambassador, David Reimer. He left the end of January, and then I'm in charge until the new ambassador arrives.
Okay, thank you. And could you explain a little bit more about your job and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So in an American embassy, and not all embassies are the same, there is an ambassador, and he's kind of like the CEO of the company. So he oversees the company and makes sure that what we're saying is what the American president would like us to say, what the American people believe in. And then my role as the deputy chief of mission, so that's the second in charge, would be to run the embassy. So they say I'm the workhorse and the ambassador is the mouthpiece. So I make sure that all of the leases are working, that everybody has a good place to live, that the embassy's drivers are all functioning, but I'm also responsible for creating relationships with people in the community, getting to know the self-help groups, helping steer the policy that the ambassador wants the world to see. So that's working with our political officer for Mauritius and our political officer for Seychelles. And I also oversee from a very high level, the immigration, the consular affairs agency. That's where you get visas and passports and things to visit America, or if you're an American citizen. And also I oversee the public diplomacy area. So that's where we do all of our Twitter and Facebook and lots of events where we showcase American culture to the world. I'm also responsible for the security in the embassy. So making sure that our systems are working and that the building is secure.
Wow, you do a lot of things. Why did you choose this profession?
Oh, I thought a lot about that question when I received the ideas that you guys had yesterday. So I grew up in a very conservative family, but my parents believed in that old saying, give them roots and give them wings. And, as far as kids are concerned. So I did a lot of traveling. When I was your age, all I wanted to do was to visit different countries. And with my parents in our situation at that time, that wasn't a possibility. But they always encouraged me to get a great education and, if I could, to travel. So that's what I did. And I went out and I lived in Europe and traveled in Europe, and I went to Africa and I traveled in Africa. And I realized that I wanted to come back specifically to Africa in a professional capacity. So I didn't want to come back just traveling around with the backpack on my back. I'd done that. It was wonderful. But I wanted to stay in one place and learn more about a country and its people and traditions. And so one way to do that was to become a diplomat. And I also have to say, in the American tradition, we don't necessarily think that when you go to university, you have to know exactly what you're going to do the rest of your life. So in the American system, you can go, and when I went to university, I thought I'd be a historian, but I didn't like my history professor. So I changed my mind, and I liked my political science professor, so I became a political scientist. So that was great, and my parents were willing to let me do that, let me travel. And then I went off and did all these fun things, had a great time, and decided at a certain point in my life I wanted to get more serious. And I went back to school, which was very important. And that's when I heard about joining the diplomatic corps. And I took the exam and passed the exams. I took the exams twice, which is important because if you don't succeed the first time, you try again, right? And then I was able to become a diplomat.
Wow. What do you like most about your job?
The people. That one was easy. When I was thinking last night, what's that? Oh, the people and living in a different culture. I work with some of the most amazing people in the world. I've worked with wonderful people over the 20 plus years I've been in the diplomatic corps. And it's the opportunity to meet people from different backgrounds and different cultures and create relationships like I have with you that I enjoy the most about my position and my job. And if I had stayed in my hometown in Southern California, I probably never would have met you. But being willing to go out and see the world and live in a different culture allowed me that opportunity. My only regret is that I can only stay in one place for up to 3 years. Because Mauritius is so lovely and the people are so great, I would love to stay here a lot longer.
Wow. And the last question is, what advice do you have for kids?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Sure. The last question is, what advice do you have for kids?
What advice do I have for kids? Oh, that's a great question. I also thought about that last night. So my advice for kids is number one, get an education. So go to university, even if you're not sure you want to be a historian or you want to be, a political scientist. But go, and that's why I recommend liberal arts colleges, because those are the colleges in America that make you take a lot of subjects, even if you don't. Even if you're going to be a historian, they still make you take Dutch. Or if you're going to be a historian, they still make you take math or computers. And so I think that's really good to explore different topics, because the way I grew up, I may have never have, known about computers or being a diplomat or things like that if I hadn't taken a variety of subjects. So my advice is to go to school and get a good education. And then what I did and what I would like my kids to do is after you've graduated from college, then go take a year or two to see the world and have some fun, and then come back and get more serious about a career if that's what you want to do. And I guess my advice to parents as well, and I have to remember this too, is to allow your kids to explore and not try to confine them to what we used to think of as traditional roles. So my parents, as long as I wasn't, on welfare, my parents were very okay with me going off and living in Europe and being a tour guide for 3 years. And as I had completed my education, they knew I was having a good time. I wasn't draining anyone's resources. I never asked them for money, but I was out having fun. And that made me a better diplomat and a better employee because I had had a great time and I knew what it was like. And when I finally found the diplomatic corps, I was ready to be serious about my profession and my career. But get a good education first and then go explore and have fun.
Thank you so much. That was great. I really hope you enjoyed.
Oh, I do. It was wonderful talking to you this morning. And I wish you both a very great education, a good day today, and we will pass this on as well. So thank you very much.